My name's Dave DeBoe, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, we've got a special guest zooming in all the way from Tennessee, Mr. Chad King. Chad is a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur, moving from flips and wholesale type deals, saving up a lot of cash, getting into multifamily deals, and then scaling at a very, very rapid pace. He's done a lot of deals. He's raised a lot of capital. We were just talking before the show. He's just closing on a very, very big deal right now. And he's got a very interesting backstory about how he got into real estate, what motivated him. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. So, Chad, welcome to the show.
Dave, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it. Can't wait to talk shop with you.
Yeah, man. All right. So, first of all, let's get a quick snapshot of what your real estate business looks like right now. Where are you guys at? What kind of investments are you buying? Where are you focusing on that? Just give us a big picture snapshot.
$135 million assets under management, mixture of multifamily, self-storage, mobile home parks, but I would say 90% of it is multifamily apartment complexes, B2C class assets, 80s, 90s, 2000s product in Middle Tennessee and areas in the Southeast. My average rental price point in my portfolio is about $1,150, $1,200. I like that C plus working class property. Got a little bit of a value add component. If it has it, that's great. So we just operate really honed in on that stuff right now. We're buying some mobile home. We closed on a mobile home park last week. So we're buying some more mobile home parks in Middle Tennessee. Some great tax benefits and cash flow there. And then the security and preservation of wealth of the multifamily apartments is why, 85, 90% of our portfolio is right in that multifamily property. So that's where we're at now.
Nice. Total units. Let's say the apartment units, give or take, how many do you have under management?
1,300, just over 1,300.
Nice. You know what's interesting to me, Chad, because I've interviewed a lot of syndicators, and quite a few of them are spread out all over the place. You seem to be very, very focused on your own backyard, which it sounds like it's a good market. Plus, it just makes you a specialist in that area. I think the deal you're bringing down is in the town you live in right now, the really big one that you're working on. Is that correct?
I closed the deal a month ago, and I could hit probably 2 3-woods to it. It's about 500 yards that way. And then the deal we're closing on next week is a mile down the road. I'm in my office here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The deal we're closing next week is a 355 unit. It's about a mile and a half down the road. That'll put us at 855 units total within a 2-mile radius. So I actually understand what you're saying. I kind of spread myself very thin across the country. I was in 7 different states, like 12 different markets, and we exited a lot of our portfolio in 2021 and 22. And that was one of the things that we did, was sort of stop being spread so thin. It was very difficult to operate with third-party managers that we could get to know and trust and develop a good business relationship with, because we do use third-party management for our stuff. It was very hard to manage stuff that was in different states, different cities, that was a flight away. Yeah. So I really wanted to hone in on, our backyard and the markets that I can get to, within an hour or two in the car. So we kind of spread ourselves real thin. I realized that wasn't the business plan that I wanted to expand on. We took a lot of chips off the table and then redeployed into our backyard.
But you still have third-party management taking care of your properties. Is that correct?
We do. Yeah. We manage some of the stuff in-house, like our storage facilities and our mobile home parks. Some of the stuff will manage in-house. It's a little bit like, our pad rent parks are not very management intensive, but the multifamily properties, like the 855 units that's here in this town, we have a third-party management in there that we work with.
Very cool. Yeah. Is it in your radar to consider starting or buying a management company? I mean, you got enough doors that it might make sense. I'm not sure. Or is that just something you don't really want to deal with?
Once you get 1,000 units, the vertical integration starts to make fiscal sense. we just have such a great thing going. Our manager's hyper local to Murfreesboro and to Rutherford County, and we just have a very good thing going. Our management fee is 3.5%.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Across our portfolio, because we have the economies of scale, right? Our percentage gets driven down, so we're not paying 6% or anything like that. So it's tough to justify bringing that headache in house. I mean, I like people, but I like a lean team.
I hear you, man. Yeah.
It's a lot of people to
I
manage.
I would completely agree with you. Keep if that guy's doing a great job or gal, just keep them chugging, focusing on what they're good at. Yeah. But I guess it is probably comforting to know that if the you know what hit the fan with your current management, it's the portfolio is big enough that it could make sense for you to bring it in house if you had to.
We do have the knowledge and the back office to build it out. It would just be, it's a whole nother business, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I have an HVAC and plumbing company. We have an insurance arm. We have a title company. We
Wow.
are vertically integrated with some other businesses. Property management is about the last one that we haven't brought, just because of the amount of personnel that it requires to run it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Very cool. So, Chad, what piqued my curiosity a lot about your backstory was you're one of those smart guys. You went to university, you got a degree in finance and accounting, I believe. So those aren't easy courses. I don't know what your GPA was, but I'm going to assume it was pretty good. But getting out of college, you didn't go down that path. You decided to jump right into sales. Not only that, you decided to jump into one of the more difficult or challenging sales field, which was door-to-door sales for photocopiers for Xerox. Tell me a little bit about that and what that experience and those skill sets helped you accomplish in your real estate investing business.
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot to unpack. And I think just the overall trajectory was, I got degrees in finance and accounting because I wanted to learn about money and how money worked and how wealth was created. And university doesn't teach that. It won't teach you about taxes and how to avoid, those kinds of things and the loopholes. And it won't teach you how to build wealth. Accounting classes just teach you how to do cost accounting for other companies, right? And that was what was I would say the disappointing part about getting those degrees was I feel like I came out and I was a great cog in the wheel for
A
somebody
great
else.
employee. That's what they trained us
I
to be
got
at
trained to be a
university. Yeah.
great employee, right? And I went there to learn how money worked. And at least what I found out was I did want to be in a position where I controlled my income, which is what led me to sales. And Xerox was an interesting choice because selling copiers door to doors. And I was in Miami, Florida, doing it. Just would go to the top of the office buildings and work my way down.
God.
And it was, not a fun racket, but it taught me a few things. Number one, is how to learn how to deal with rejection. Right, and you're one no away. So you just got to chase the no's because every no gets you one step closer to a yes. It also taught me how to build a funnel, and I think a lot of people are not putting enough activity at the top of the funnel. So it taught me that, the amount of doors you knock on directly correlates to the amount of people you talk to, the amount of conversations you have correlates to the amount of proposals you can give, the amount of proposals you give correlates to the amount of contracts that get sent out. And so you build this funnel, right? And at the top is just outbound activity. And most people are not taking nearly enough outbound activity at the top of the funnel to get the result that they want. Let's just correlate that to commercial real estate. You want to buy a multifamily property and people are looking at 10 deals and getting frustrated. Well, you need to look at 100 deals or 200 deals at the top of your funnel before you can even justify the numbers that require down the chain as far as LOIs or offers and letters of intent to get to actual contract. So it taught me to build that funnel, how to deal with people and push past the inevitable sweaty palms that come with cold calling, because that'll still happen, right? So
Yeah.
being able to just walk into somebody's door and interrupt their day, if you can do that in person, then the cold call becomes pretty easy. So I think everything you want is on the other side of a phone, and everything you want somebody else has the information for, they have it. And it's just our ability to pick up the phone and call them or walk through that door, because you're one conversation away from a completely different life. So those are some of the lessons that I've learned that have translated over as far as the pipeline, dealing with rejection and dealing with people, honestly, because at the end of the day, real estate's a people business, and you got to be able to deal with people.
Wow, those are valuable, valuable lessons. I tell you what, very, very smart. So just out of curiosity, how long were you in the the Xerox business.
Yeah, almost. I was 2.5 years in Xerox.
Okay, that's
Um, my
quite a good
second year, I
chunk
was
of
the
that.
top. My second year, I was the top producer at the company.
Oh, that
Um,
must have ticked off some of those old guys.
yeah, well, that's in net new business. So a lot of those old guys, they're just sitting on a book of business, and those copiers are on lease renewals. So
Uh,
all they're doing is once they get a book, they're just renewing every 36 months. They're just renewing those leases, and
mhm.
net new business was the hardest to get because you literally have to go, take a customer that's not a customer and create one, right?
Yeah,
So
very,
yeah,
very cool. Well, hats off to you for that. I never I tried my hand at something similar to that and absolutely sucked. So I can appreciate what you did in such a short period of time. Fantastic. Now, Chad, another thing I wanted to talk about is you've raised a lot of money over the years for your real estate deals and syndications and whatnot. Two things I'd like to unwrap. Number one, maybe what are some of the things that you do or that you've done that's helped you to raise that private capital? And then something that a lot of people are missing on is the investor relationships once you've got them on board as investors. So let's start with some of the activities, that top of funnel stuff you do to generate investor leads.
yeah. Well, the thing that I've figured out about raising capital is you can't wait till you have a deal to start having those conversations. I think
Amen.
there's like a
Amen.
stigma out there that's like find the deal and the money will come. Well, if you haven't had any conversations with anybody about deploying capital in the real estate, you could get the greatest deal ever and you're going to be at square one with 60 days to close, and that's too short of time to build enough of a relationship where someone trusts you to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
Yeah.
you need to be raising capital now, even if you don't have a real estate deal. You need to be telling people what you're up to, and just even giving them a mock deal or a mock pro forma that they can say. You can even say, hey, if I had a deal like this, would you be interested? And just getting those feelers out there, letting people know what you're doing so that when you do have a deal, it's not a completely, oh, I didn't know you were doing that kind of
Mhm.
conversation. Raising capital, and I have a business partner that does this phenomenally. And these relationships are years and years and years in the making before they actually sometimes invest. And there's investors that you have that might be following you on social media or something, and they'll be quiet for just years. And then all of a sudden you have your deal and they just come out of the woodworks, and you're like, might be an old high school friend. And they're like, yeah, I've been watching what you're up to and I'm ready now. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you were, paying attention. But so it's planting a lot of those seeds that takes time. However, the other thing that's going to help you is if you do have to raise capital in a short amount of time, having a very dialed in underwriting, having a very dialed in pitch, knowing your numbers very, very well. And then if you have a track record, obviously that helps a lot. So we've purchased 25 commercial properties. We've taken 14 of them full cycle with an average of a 26% IRR to our investors.
Nice.
So I can show those 14 exits, what we bought it for, what we sold it for, how much the capital stack was, and where the returns are coming from. So now I have, I had to do those first few deals with my own cash and show the business plan was able to be executed. And now those returns can be leveraged to say, hey, this is what our portfolio is. These are our high yield dispositions, to get people comfortable in a shorter amount of time versus the first thing is where, if you're doing your first deal, it's going to take a lot longer. So we're doing that. When investors do come on board, we do monthly updates on the 15th of every month. We don't miss. It's just not a good sign. We do quarterly
So
distribution.
monthly updates about each project that you're involved in. So the investors in project A get a
Yep,
monthly update. Investors in project B, everybody gets an update once a month.
correct.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's roughly, 11 or 12 syndications that we have active right now, and every single one of those gets a monthly update with occupancy, leasing, any CapEx items, any big notes that we have on the property, so they can sort of watch the project sort of unfold with collections and all that stuff.
And
And then
that's via email. You send them an email about their particular project.
yeah, we'll send them an email.
Okay.
Quarterly, we do quarterly distributions.
Nice.
So we're hitting on all assets except for two right now, which is pretty good. We have, a couple that are, we have one that's in Davidson County in Nashville proper. We had all that absorption, so we had to pause distributions, and we've never done a capital call, which we're very blessed to have picked good properties and good locations. And, out of all the projects, to only have to hold on one is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially these days.
a
Yeah,
lot of
for sure.
syndicators are struggling. There's a lot of capital calls being happening right now. And We have long-term fixed rate debt on all our stuff. We're in a fortunate position to have locked a lot of good debt that's going to carry us through any potential, market shifts over the next couple of years. So we are in a good spot on the portfolio. We do quarterly distributions, as I mentioned. K1s get sent out on the 15th, updates every single month. And as other than that, people invest with us because they want to be passive and they want to invest with good operators. And if you're listening to this and you're a limited partner, meaning you want to be a passive investor, 80% of your investment's going into the operator, not the asset. So vet your operators, know who's running the project, who's making the decisions, how have they made decisions in the past, what assets have they made decisions on. Like those kinds of questions need to be asked, because I've seen bad operators screw up great deals, and I've seen great operators turn SHIT into gold, because that's what it takes, is a really good day-to-day running the show. So, that's just keep that in mind. And if you're a general partner, looking to get in, just do the right thing to your investors, because if you take care of your property, take care of your tenants take care of your property property take care of your investors. And if your investors are taken care of, then you'll be taken care of. But it goes in that order first. And I think a lot of people get it backwards, where they're trying to, rip fees or take care of themselves first, and then their investors come behind. And that's not a long-term play.
No, that's a short-term play. Wow, that's a lot in there. What I really picked up on, Chad, was number one, you self-financed your first couple of commercial properties to get the experience, to have the skin in the game, to be able to show proof of concept, to be able to show case studies to potential investors. Number two, you and I are completely on the same page when it comes to chicken and the eggs, which comes first, the money or the deal. Get those investors lined up as quickly as possible. Even like you said, showing them a case study or an example deal. Get them committed in some way. Probably not a hard commitment, but at least maybe signed off on something simple like an expression of interest, so that when you do have a deal, you're not starting from scratch. You've got a bunch of people waiting in the wings. Also, what I picked up there was, when you've got those investors on board, I love the fact that you're sending out like clockwork, exactly which day of the month your deal updates going out to each one of your investors. Then you've got quarterly disbursements. And I'm sure, if somebody has a question, they can reach out and book a call and jump on Zoom with you in the meantime. So
absolutely.
Yeah, really, really smart. Great advice. Time flies when we're having fun, Chad. So if people want to find out more about Chad King and what you're up to and what you're doing, what should they do?
Yeah, you can. I'm most active on Instagram. I'm at Mr. Chad King, Mr. Chad King on Instagram, because Chad King was taken. So I'm Mr. Chad King. And then if you can catch me on Facebook, just my name on Facebook, come follow me. I like to post just real estate stuff. Sometimes I get a little political, because I enjoy that aspect, and real estate and politics go hand in hand. So I like to have a good time on there, and I like to help people. If I can condense, decades of information into days, and just give you all some potholes to avoid that might save you all, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. I'd love to do that. And so if I can help you in any way, let me know. But yeah, feel free to reach out and give me a follow.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks a lot, Chad, and everybody else. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.